Welcome to Wednesdays with Whitney. Today we are here with Gina Skinner-Thebo, full-time working mom, wife, and the founder of the Atwood Center for Women. So we are going to talk about a multitude of those topics today and how they integrate, but mostly we are going to center on our conversation about the Atwood Center. So I think we're going to deep dive into how Gina and I met, which was kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So the first way I heard about Gina was through my Empowerment Portrait nomination series. So Gina was actually nominated twice by two separate women that thought that Gina was incredibly amazing, which is accurate now that I've had the pleasure to get to know her. So I got to read all of this. I was like a little bit of a stalker, just reading all of these amazing things about Gina, and I was like, who is this woman? So Gina, tell us a little bit about what you do in everyday life. What are your roles? What are the hats that you wear?
Oh gosh.
The balls you juggle, shall we say.
So I start each day about 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
5 a.m.
You and me both, sister.
Yep. And I've got, well, I don't know if that's worth high-fiving about. I wish it could be a little later. And I've got 3 little ones, so I got to get them up and get them ready for the day. My husband helps with that so much. He actually, to be fair, my day starts with my husband waking me up with a cup of coffee.
Champion.
Right?
Champion. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I take
carbon copy him.
Yeah, I know. I take a few sips of that before I can really kind of roll out of bed because I'm usually pretty exhausted.
Yeah.
So I get my 3 little ones off and head into the office. Mm-hmm. So I am a HR consultant.
Yep.
So I head into the office and do a full work day.
Yep.
I try to catch lunch or do something like this over the lunch hour.
Yeah. Thank you for spending
Yes,
your lunch with us.
Absolutely.
We're lucky.
And work with a lot of different clients in my role, really satisfying professional career. Yeah. And then I try to hit the gym after that, and then I go home and feed my kids and bathe my kids and spend a little time working on things for the Atwood Center.
Yeah. What, from the hours of 9:30 to 10:30 when your eyes are still open?
Actually, I'm usually asleep before then.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I'm like hit the pillow at 9:30.
Yeah,
so hard.
Yep. I try to definitely be pretty consistent. I think taking care of yourself and getting enough sleep and things is really important, and I wouldn't be able to continue doing what I do if I didn't do a lot of self-care with exercise, diet, and sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the second touch point that I recently got to know Gina through was her incredible women parties. And I know a lot of you out there have either heard of this or been to one. And there's only been 2 of these, is that correct? There's only been 2, and I feel like there's already this incredible buzz about what Gina's curating. Can you tell us about the first incredible women party and how this idea came about and like what the heck it was?
Sure, yeah. So last year in summertime, I was talking with a girlfriend, and we were talking about some obscure topic, and I said, oh, just ask this person. Ask this woman about it. She knows way more than I do. Mm-hmm. And the woman was like, oh, I don't know who that is. And I thought, oh my gosh, what? Yeah. And I was the common denominator in that equation. I knew both of these women very well, but I had never introduced them. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, that's a failing on my part. And so I thought, I know a ton of incredible women. And I thought, how can I get all of these women together in one space? And I was like, oh, sure, I can throw a party, right? But when you throw a party, you get people together, they don't necessarily intermingle.
Yep. They don't necessarily talk with each other. They find their people that they already know, comfort zone.
Or maybe they talk to 1 or 2 people they've not met before, and then they hang out with them all night. Yep. So I thought, okay, I need to be more intentional about highlighting these women. And so I asked each woman, I asked kind of
voluntold.
I voluntold.
A voluntold situation.
Each of the women to speak about themselves for 60 seconds. Okay. And so we had a beautiful evening together. Yeah. And I talked about my dreams of opening a center for women eventually, and it was very much this is going to happen in the far future.
And this was in November.
This was in November of 2017, so just a few months ago. Okay. And it was a magical night. Mm-hmm. Magical things happened. And I got so many messages afterwards saying, what an event, talking about the different women's stories that were shared, all sorts of things.
All the connections.
That's
what I heard. I came to the second one, and that's what I was hearing about the whole time before I went to the
It was such an amazing evening. evening. And so then my husband and I were talking about it, and he knew my dreams of opening a center someday, and he bought me a website domain on Black Friday. There was like a great
Get it
deal.
done, girl.
Yeah.
Get it done.
And he was just like, you know what, it's time. You just got to do something with this. And so
Did you feel like it was time?
I felt like it was like a lot of things were happening very quickly, and I kind of knew, but
it had the momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, having the support of my spouse.
Yeah.
Made
And that's something
a world
that
of
you
difference.
talk about in all of our conversations that we have.
Yep.
You talk about how you're able to follow your dreams because he is so supportive of them.
Yep.
And in some cases, like getting to them before you even get there.
Yeah.
Which I think is phenomenal.
Yeah. I'll always say my husband has taught me more about being a feminist than any other person in my life.
Yeah.
So he bought me the domain. We took a bunch of PTO together in December and sat at our dining room table and
Where all great businesses start.
I know, right? And we created this website for the Atwood Center for Women and just really thought about what the next steps were. And I launched it on January 1st. So we're only 2 months in.
It's crazy.
I know, isn't
and
it?
so many people. So we had there was a second.
There was a
incredible
second,
women
yep.
party, which I had the honor to attend.
Yep.
And how many people were at that incredible women
So
party?
we had 68 women.
Yeah. So that doubled.
Yep.
Right.
So, yes.
Am I getting my math right?
Yes. And that was charity of choice.
Charity of choice. And I loved that because we went around the room and each person stood up and pitched the charity that they wanted donations to go to. So when you showed up at the door, you paid money, and then all that money went into a big pot that then was split up between the charities that ended up getting voted for at the end of the night.
Yep.
But even the charities that didn't necessarily end up winning any money from the pot, you still learned about them.
Yes.
You still learned about new things that were happening in
Absolutely.
the community. Like charities that I didn't even know existed.
Yep.
So
And
I
then
thought
you met
that
the woman that was
exactly.
connected to them.
You saw the face.
So, yeah.
And I looked around the room and there were a couple people there that I had been kind of like, thinking about like, oh, you should meet this person. You should meet this person. And
Yeah.
so I literally walked up to them afterwards and was like, hi, I'm supposed to meet you. And it was that opportunity where being in the same space, obviously caring about similar things, you already have a connection point.
Yes.
Tell me about the kinds of women that attend. Like, what's who shows up at these incredible women?
So
parties?
that's another big point for me with the Atwood Center is to be very inclusive.
Yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of groups around the Des Moines area that are very specific. So we have the business owners, we have the professional women networks. I want all of it. I want all the women to come. So at my last Incredible Women Party, I had stay-at-home moms come.
Yeah.
And so I really want it to be representative of our entire community.
Yeah, I love that.
And that's very important to me because every story really matters wherever you are in your life.
Well, and I said, Gina and I were talking, I said, and that was really what struck me the most, is I frequently, when I show up at networking or connection places, it's all kind of the same goal. Everybody's there under like one umbrella, and it's usually pretty specified. So women business owners, or just business owners, or YPC is a certain like age demographic. And what I really loved about showing up in Gina's space is that it was everything. It was all ages. It was all professions. It was nonprofit, corporate, small business owners, stay-at-home moms. Like the whole gamut was there. And so it gave me the opportunity to listen to what all of those other, subheads were talking about.
Yeah.
Like what are they interested in? What are they thinking about? What are their concerns?
Yeah.
What are they most invested in getting done in our community? Because we can get very...
Siloed?
Yes, thank you for that beautiful word.
Yes.
Siloed into our own
really
spaces.
Can. Yeah. And we all have desires and dreams and hopes and passion projects.
Yeah.
And we can't put the puzzle together unless we have a piece from every part.
Exactly.
So it's really representation and inclusiveness is a big part of what I'm doing. And so it fills my heart to hear you say that, because that's the type of space that I'm really working hard to create.
Well, and the other thing, as we were, we're going around the room, it's a pretty big circle of women.
Yeah.
And honestly, I walked in and I was like, whoa. Because
what have I done?
Yeah, what have I done?
How long is this going to take?
Those were literally my exacts, because I'm someone who kind of like schedules my time down to the minute, which I'm working on, but progress. And I walked in and I was like, oh my gosh, like, my first concern was actually, am I going to be bored?
Yeah.
Because if I'm bored, then I'm like,
Well, and that's the 60 second.
Yeah.
Because some people don't like to talk about themselves, which is a whole nother thing, another reason why I'm doing this. But some people are a little more long-winded, like myself. I can talk about myself for, no problem.
Same.
But 60 seconds is that perfect little chunk to just give people enough information to let them know about you and to kind of plant that seed about how you can connect in the future.
And I loved that because you don't realize how much time a minute is until you have to be effective with it.
That is the truth.
Yeah.
You can tell a lot in 1 minute.
So much.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. I was just experiencing this with the 20-minute sessions, the $100 headshots we were just doing.
Oh, yeah.
And those were 20 minutes, like literally timed. Like a timer was started when they walked in.
Yeah.
And it was incredible to me when you're really forced to be effective with your time, how intentional you get.
Yes.
How you get to the point. And I think what I really loved about the 60 seconds is that people started what was most important. They don't start with all the things that they're worried about. They start with, here's what I have for you.
Yes.
And I think, so I love that platform. I hope that continues as incredible women.
Well, and public speaking is a challenge for women, and self-promotion, right? Women are so bad at promoting themselves.
I know.
And there's no shame in it. And so that's another thing that Incredible Women Parties do is we create a safe space for women to come and say unabashedly, this is what I'm great at. This is how I'm incredible.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Thank you.
I want to encourage, that's something I'm really passionate about is people standing up and saying, like, for themselves, I'm amazing. I deserve to be seen. Like
I deserve to be seen.
I deserve to be seen and heard.
Yeah.
Like those are two huge things that Gina and I both like. Our cross section's huge there.
I think that's why we.
So, I know that might be why we click. So out of this Incredible Women Party, Gina just up and decides to start a whole center for women.
Yeah. Yep. I did.
At your dining room table with your husband.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So it's Atwood Center for Women.
Yep.
Where does this come from?
This comes from my best friend in college. Her name was Rachel Atwood. And so this center is in her honor, and that's why, so Atwood Center for Women, it's named after her. She passed away in July of 2014, and she died by suicide. So trying not to get emotional here.
Yeah.
Heavy topic, but Rachel was a woman who had it all together. She was perfect. She was beautiful. She had 3 beautiful children. She was married. She was an entrepreneur. She had her master's degree. And Rachel did not have an environment where she could show where she was broken. And I moved away from Kansas City where I went to college, and so we were separated by 300 miles. Yeah. And we stayed in touch, but I clearly was out of touch. Yeah. And so that's another part of the Atwood Center is I'm trying to create a space where come as you are, come broken, show me how you're broken. We're all broken in different ways. And it's okay to be vulnerable. You can still be vibrant at the same time. It's not a weakness. Some of us just carry it differently.
Yeah. So show yourself.
Yeah.
Stand up and show yourself.
And own it.
Yeah.
And be okay with where you are. So I just want to offer that support. So it's in honor of Rachel.
I love that message. I love the message of what struck me when you were telling me about Rachel is that you said that her nickname was the mayor of the town.
Yeah.
So it's not that this woman was isolated.
Nope.
This woman had what we would traditionally think of as a support system.
Yes.
But she didn't have the space to feel vulnerable.
Right.
Within that support system. So I think that creating a space where not only do we have support, not only are we being lifted up for being strong, but we're also being carried when we're not.
Yeah, and I think that the ones that are feeling a little stronger in the moment, because it ebbs and flows, right? We have moments in our lives where we feel very weak and vulnerable, and we have other moments of our lives where we feel like we can do anything. Yeah. But to be intentional about sharing your vulnerability when you're on top. Yeah. So saying like, it appears that I've got it all together, and maybe I do have most of it together right now, but let me tell you about a time when I didn't. Let me tell you about my headspace when I don't. So sharing that with each other. I
think that's so important. I was in a group scenario with a small group of women this last week, and the leader of the group turned to me and it was a huge turn of topic, and she turned to me and she's like, have you ever failed? And I knew it was a pointed question because I think that she wanted me to talk about how I failed in front of all of these other people. And then I told her 3 very strong examples of how I have come crashing to my knees. And there was like this pause of like, I could watch, I felt the room watching me very strongly.
Yeah.
That they, you know, individually, one of each of the stories resonated with a different person, but I think it's really important to share where you're not perfect with people. Of course. Because this space, this whole like Facebook space that we live in, or, you know, the digital world, or just showing up and smiling, that's not.
It's very detrimental to our
that's not what happens.
Culture and to, it sure is. It's like, let me paint a perfect picture for you, and we all know that's not the reality.
I mean, guys, I put lipstick on literally like 3 minutes before this went live. So the real deal is generally not existing in this space. Let's talk about the other subsets of Atwood. So we have the Incredible Women Party.
Yep. And then we have the Wear Your Heart on Your Sleeve campaign. So I don't know if you can see my little heart.
Love it.
But I do give out hearts to people, and that's, again, to promote transparency. So we're being vulnerable with each other. We're wearing our heart on our sleeve to promote that openness with each other and go back to just being more of, again, a culture that celebrates the imperfections of each other, because we all have them.
Love that.
Then I have the spotlight. So every week on the website, we spotlight a woman in the community. So there's a stock questions that they answer, and then I put their picture out. It's just a way for women to see women from outside of their circle and what they're doing. It's a great way for me, again, to be intentional about crossing those paths of all the women pockets that I'm in.
Yeah.
And then I have my Gina Says, and it's the blog and podcast. So I have a podcast called Very Broad Topics that I do with Sarah, and then I write a blog.
So just a few things.
Just a couple
No
things.
Big deal.
No big deal.
So one of the topics that Gina and I quite candidly talk about each other is being busy.
Yes.
Like that word busy. And we hear, like, I know
so
that I've said it. I'm so busy. And I'm like,
And I do it too. I say it all the time.
I say it, and then I feel a little like, ew.
Gross.
Just saying, like, I'm so busy.
I know.
Because I think the underlying thing there is, like, I'm not prioritizing whatever it is I'm responding to.
Yeah.
But I also think what I've been trying to figure out busy in my head, and how to like manage that in a way that, like, we both like to do a lot of things. Sarah Noel Wilson talks about being a multi-passionate. I love that. I know, right? So being a multi-passionate, like I'm a photographer, but that's such a small part of what I actually do.
Yeah.
Which people are like, why are you doing all these other things? And I think that same question can be applied to you.
Sure, yeah.
Why you have a job that you love, you have kids that take up your time and that you love, and a husband that could, you know, probably spend more time with you that you love. And yet, what keeps you moving forward with your other project, with Atwood?
Well, I've always been a relationship person.
Yeah.
I've always been one that has a lot of friends, especially women friends.
Yeah.
I've never hurt in that area, and I think a lot of it has to do with my willingness to be so open and vulnerable. But clearly, I feed off of that.
Yeah.
And so when
Is that how you get energy?
Absolutely. Okay. And so a lot of people tell me, slow down, Gina, stop overextending yourself. And part of me is like, oh, I don't really know how to do that. But I will also say that most of the things that I'm doing are feeding my soul.
And your interests.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of finding a balance with that. And then the self-care piece, you know, I work out 4 or 5 days a week, and a lot of people are like, well, when do you rest? When do you relax? And honestly, a really great workout is a wonderful way for me to decompress or to relax. Yeah. That sounds weird to some people, but that really does it for me.
That's my space. I love when I get up in the morning, my first step is to the gym for, like, it's a 45-minute workout that gives me my own space.
Yes.
And usually someone's telling me what to do because I can't like go and be self-directed. I've learned that my hobbies, I need to have directional hobbies, so someone tells me what's up. That's why I like coloring books. But people ask me the same thing, how do you relax? And I'm like, me just sitting on the couch is not relaxing. It actually stresses me out.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. So like, do you ever just watch TV? I'm like, no,
If I really need to check out, I sit on the couch and watch TV with a coloring book because it keeps me...
Take a hot bath.
See, but then I just need to listen to an audiobook at that point.
Oh, I kind of enjoy the silence when I do get a hot bath.
But your home is probably filled with a bit more noise than mine is.
Yes, it is.
I live alone.
Yeah.
It's real quiet there.
But yeah, so working out, and that's another thing is I work out mainly by myself. Every once in a while I'll do but I put the earbuds in, and it's my time to not talk to anybody. So I talk to people all day long. I work in HR, right?
Yeah.
I'm constantly talking to people. I'm having lunch with girlfriends, coffee with girlfriends. And so it's great for me to go to the gym, put my earbuds in, and not talk to a soul.
So the question everybody wants to know.
Oh my gosh. What is the question?
You already know the answer.
Oh, thank goodness.
When is the next Incredible Women Party?
Yes.
Yay! And what's the topic?
Okay, so it is Tuesday, May 8th. So mark your calendars. And again, any woman is welcome to attend this. So if we're not connected in some way, if we're not friends on Facebook, certainly connect with me after this. But you are welcome to attend. So it's Tuesday, May 8th, and it's actually at the Forge. I know, I'm so excited.
So close to the studio.
I know, so excited. And the topic is your favorite book. So we're not going to always do like the really heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're going to just do like celebrating our interests. And so you need to come with a copy of your favorite book, and it needs to be wrapped like in wrapping paper. And I would like you to write 4 words that describe the book. So adventurous, feminist, whatever it may be, raunchy, nasty novel, whatever it is that makes you, love the book.
Raunchy, nasty novel.
Right, and it's going to be like Jane Eyre.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'd be all about that. Love me some classic lit.
So you'll come with it wrapped, and we're going to all put our books on a table, and then everybody will leave with a book. So you won't know which book you're leaving with, but the 60 seconds is for you to stand up, tell us the title and the author of your favorite book, and why it's your favorite book. So I'm really excited about it.
And I am such a book nerd.
Me too.
To be super honest, I have not read a book in my hands for, how old's my business? But I'm an audiobook nerd, so.
That's interesting. I wonder if we should allow people, but.
I think you should bring the physical book.
Okay.
Like, I'm still going to bring, not to.
No, I think that's good.
I think it's important. Like, when I really love a book, I end up going to buy it. Because I like to annotate if I really get into it. Also, there's something really beautiful, even if this probably sounds terrible, but even if I don't read the specific book, a lot of times I'll have a paperback copy and an audio one because I like having it around.
Absolutely.
But like poetry has to be in written form.
Yeah.
So that if I'm reading poetry, it's always written.
I don't read poetry. I don't dislike it.
What about Rupi Kaur?
No.
I have a paperback copy I'm going to send you home with because it's here and it's amazing.
I went to the Ankeny Public Library yesterday. I'm in a book club, and I was just trying to get the book. And just even being in that space with all the books, it
maybe that'll
gives me energy.
Maybe that'll be a new goal for me. I need to reclaim my hobby space.
Yeah.
And I used to be someone who physically read 2 to 3 books a week when I was little.
Yeah.
Middle school, high school, I was obsessed. That was what I did.
I was too. Now I just aim actually for 2 books a month,
which seems like a ton.
Well, I don't know if it's a ton, but it's.
But if you're actually reading a paperback book and you're sitting there, I mean, I listen to Audible while I'm washing dishes.
Yeah.
Like that's every morning. I get a half hour in while I'm like cleaning or getting ready. So
sometimes I don't listen to anything. Like even in the car, I just turn it all off. Yeah, it's silence. I just let it. Yeah.
Silence the stimulation.
Yeah. Let my brain just work a bit.
Well, May 8th, Tuesday, where can they find this so that people want to sign up, or how does that work?
Yep, that's a great question. So I actually have a group on Facebook called Incredible Women Party, and you don't have to be my friend on Facebook to be a part of it, but you have to be added by somebody who is connected. So again, reach out to me, or it's easy to find somebody that's connected. We have about 500 women in the group.
Yeah.
And I send out the invitation through Facebook. I am thinking that I'll probably do some type of ticket, maybe through Eventbrite or something for this next Incredible Women Party. Still kind of figuring out some of those details, but you can certainly just message me if you'd like more information or to get connected.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having
me. I know your lunch hours are probably very coveted.
No.
So,
well, and you gave me a couple weeks.
I did. We planned ahead.
Yeah, we did.
For
Happy to
Mama.
be here.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye, guys.
Bye.